Oh, beautiful. It's so fancy. It feels so official.
I try and make it official.
This is my coffee drinking hand.
And this
Is
is
my
the,
microphone hand.
yes, we have all the beverages too. Yeah.
Huge goblet.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, always, always. I'm like 3 cups all
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Yeah.
The I work from home, so the house that we're in right now is my office is upstairs, and so every day I walk up with like my coffee, my iced coffee, my kombucha, my water, and
It's the trifecta of a morning.
yeah, I
Hmm.
get that. Makes sense. Yeah, mine is usually my morning three are water, coffee, and a Fairlife protein shake.
Oh, lovely.
Like chocolate milk for grown-ups.
It really is. That's what protein shakes are.
It's true.
Hmm.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're fun. You can add in flavors.
it's true.
Yeah.
I feel that way.
As much fun as you can have with a protein shake. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, Fairlife really figured it out. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about them, but
Hey,
got it.
come sponsor the pod. Sponsor. I'm always looking for
Yes,
sponsorships.
therapists
I'm
hoping
kidding.
for people to have more protein.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a necessity.
It's true. It's true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just like this iced coffee.
Yes. Yes. Yellow Dog local.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Shout out to Yellow Dog. I think I've now mentioned maybe 3 or 4 local coffee shops on the
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
So I'm trying to hit them all.
Okay.
I'm trying to get all the shout outs to all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we should just record in a coffee shop.
Yes. Yes. I have
Sure,
one
there's
in
a lot of
mind.
noise,
I'll
but
offline,
okay.
I'll shoot the
Okay.
idea to you.
So
I
which ones have you already mentioned?
think you mentioned black and white,
Oh, obviously.
of course.
Yes.
It's a fave.
I went there this morning.
Oh, it's so good. It's so the Wake Forest location or
The Wake Forest.
I have not been to the OG location in Wake Forest.
It's worth it.
Okay.
It's worth it. Coffee tastes the same, but the vibes are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need to make it out there. Wake Forest has good vibes in general.
It does. It's very cute.
It is super cute.
Mhm.
It is the epitome of a cute southern town.
Yes. Yeah. Very Stars Hollow vibes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally agree. Okay. So black and white.
Black and white. Think you might have mentioned Iris.
Oh, I haven't been there.
Oh, good one.
Okay.
Yes. Jubala or Jubala. I feel like I
Yes.
say it wrong all the time.
Yes, I was there yesterday.
Yes. Yes. Which one did you go to?
The Lafayette Village.
Okay. I go
Mhm.
to Hillsborough Street.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Really good vibes.
Yeah. Amazing.
Hmm.
I buy Counterculture.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Another great roastery. Shout out to
Excellent.
Durham.
Yes.
Yes.
It's got a great local coffee scene.
Yes, we do. We'll hit them up.
Yeah. We're well caffeinated.
We are well caffeinated, so it's gonna be a good one. Kim, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited and terrified.
What I like to say nervited, nervous and excited.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make it the more exciting part
Yeah.
and maybe the less nervous part then.
Yeah, excellent.
Perfect. We met
Mhm.
via Instagram.
We did.
Yes. We did shout you out when I did the podcast with Sierra because you were the one who connected us. Yes, of course. No, and I said this before, but one of my favorite things is being able to connect other people.
Yes. Same.
Yes.
Same.
And it feels like an honor when someone is saying, hey, you need to know this person.
Yes.
And it's like, oh,
Yes.
sweet. Thank you.
Yes. I deeply resonate with that. It's my favorite thing when my friends become friends with each other.
Yes.
I love that.
I love that too.
So I'm glad you guys were able to connect.
Oh, well, all thanks to you.
It's a good time.
It's a great time out here. Yeah, making all the therapist friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we met through Instagram.
I lied. We met at a networking event.
That's so true. And then we reconnected over Instagram.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we did meet in real life.
Yes. Yes. Shout out Mary Beth.
Yes.
Your journey through. And Carly of
Yeah.
Garden. Is that her practice name?
The Garden Wellness Group.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, we did. We met at Little Native, another coffee shop.
Another coffee shop.
And then connected on Instagram and then went to Black and White for coffee.
Yes, we did.
The rest is history.
Yes. Now we're here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we have a really solid foundation, I think, built on coffee.
Built on coffee and connection.
Yes.
This is the true coffee and connection.
So therapisty of us.
I know. Can't get any better. Well,
Yeah.
hey, the whole podcast is how to relate. So if you're looking to make more relationships in your life,
Yeah.
then go hang out in coffee shops,
Yes.
say hi to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yes. This has like been the most delightful thing about having my own practice is like building my network of therapist friends. Like therapists are so delightful. And I haven't sent an email or a DM and gotten a negative response or a no from anybody.
Right.
Like, not everybody's a love match, obviously, but like, no one's ever been rude. And
Yeah,
so it's been a very fun way to make new friends.
it is.
Hmm.
It is.
Yes.
I half joke where I say most of my friends are therapists,
Yeah.
but it is true that most of my friends are
Yes.
therapists.
A large chunk of my friends are therapists. Most of my
Mhm.
social plans next week are with therapists.
Yes, I love
Yes.
business meetings, and I'm like,
Yes.
this is a write-off. I get to spend time with friends.
Right. Yes. This is a business dinner.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You just write it off. What has your journey been in becoming a therapist?
That's a great question. So I have been doing clinical work for 7 years now. Started at a group practice, had a really great experience. And we really just kind of came to a point where the practice's needs and my needs just weren't going to work together anymore, as based on like finances and how much I had the capacity to see clients. And so kind of parted ways there, but still have a really positive relationship with that practice and my former supervisor. Started my own practice in 2022, and it has been so lovely. It's been a learning curve because they don't teach you how to be a business owner in grad school. Um, but it's been really delightful learning how to work for myself and figure out what kind of structure works best for me. Um, but getting into the therapy field, I was working for a nonprofit. Um, for the nonprofit, I worked with children at pre-K. So I was working for a nonprofit, working in early intervention for families that were experiencing homelessness, connecting young children to education services or daycare, preschool, screenings for developmental delays, learning disabilities, and things like that. And then moved into the clinical space and was working primarily with children. And then really started enjoying working with parents that were doing their own work. So, like, kiddos were coming in for their anxiety, and parents were sitting on a session and then talking to me later about, like, oh, I'm anxious. I'm having a lot of my own anxiety, and my children are picking up on that, or like they have picked up on my behavioral patterns based on my anxiety. And so, kind of shifted like further upstream and like started working with, I think most of my caseload right now is millennial moms that are parenting or want to parent at some point and are working through their own childhood stuff for their kids.
Parenting from the inside out.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. Inner child work has been a hot topic that I feel
Hmm.
like has come on the scene over the past couple
Yeah.
years. Yeah, and I can imagine that when you're working with millennial moms, that they're doing a lot of reflecting
Hmm.
for from their own childhood
Right.
experience and what they're giving to their own children.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of that. A
Okay.
lot of that. Yeah. And inner child work or internal family systems work has just kind of resonated with my client base. It's easy to kind of talk to them about like when your kid is throwing a tantrum or screaming and kicking their feet against the wall, what part of you is getting triggered by that? What part of you is responding? Because it's not usually a part of us that feels the age that we are now. It's usually like, oh, my 7-year-old is triggered by that because I wasn't allowed to act like that. I wasn't allowed to have feelings. And so separating it into parts makes it easy for them to kind of grasp, like, oh, okay, this is why I'm reacting the way that I do, or why this makes me so upset or makes me feel like I'm failing. So that's
Mm.
been really cool.
Yeah. Parts work is great because it gives way more nuanced language
Hmm.
to what the experience is. If I'm thinking about maybe previous generations, it was either you're a
Hmm.
good parent, you're a bad parent, and this
Right.
is how you show it.
Right.
And that doesn't really give much room for grace or
Right.
for even apologizing or
Right.
for I'm
Yes.
having a very human experience and I
Yeah.
need to allow myself to have that human experience
Right.
while I am parenting my child.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that that's maybe what's caused some of the challenges that we've seen. And like, I'm sure everybody's aware of kind of the cultural rift between millennials and the baby boomer generation, and a lot of the perception of what happens when millennials go to therapy is that they're going to go no contact with their family or blame their families for their current experience, which does sometimes happen. But um, that's not what most of my clients are seeking. Most of my clients want to know how to have a relationship with their families. And so they're kind of trying to come back and do this work with me so that they can show up authentically and in a more recovered way with their families, and figuring out what those boundaries are, how to communicate. Um, so, yeah, but I do think it creates a dynamic where the baby boomer parents feel a lot of shame or guilt and aren't really able to sit with the like, you're right. I did mess up. I'm not a perfect person, and I don't know how to have that conversation because my family never talked about feelings.
Right.
So,
Right. We were the pick yourself up by your
Hmm.
bootstraps generation.
Right. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
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 I think it's a Ram Dass quote, and it's just when you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, in which, speaking to all the millennials who are individuating
Hmm.
from their families in
Hmm.
whichever way they're doing that, whether it's parenting differently, creating their own
Hmm.
unit, their own way of life that might be
Yeah.
very different from their family of origin,
Hmm.
that it's I'm creating a sense of separateness from the unit,
Right.
and that creates friction with the unit.
Hmm.
How do I be in myself and
Hmm.
compassionate towards self and my family members
Right.
while trying to navigate the differences?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a really challenging dynamic, trying to figure out how to navigate conflict without abandoning yourself and without rescuing other people from their feelings. Um, a lot of my clients are working through that right now. I work through that with my therapist. And it's really fun being in your 30s and figuring this out because this is really a task of adolescence. Like
Mhm.
individuating and launching is a task of the adolescent years. But when we come from dynamics that maybe were toxic or unhealthy in some way, that gets delayed potentially forever. But think a lot of millennials are kind of going through that adolescent phase now and individuating from their families, and it's challenging.
Do you think that that phase ever really ends?
That's a great question. I don't know because I've been in it for a long time. It's still going.
Because I think about it even with if it's not parents, maybe it's
Hmm.
siblings
Yeah.
or just the with how
Hmm.
family systems ripple out. If it's like siblings, cousins, whatever,
Hmm.
however that might look.
Right.
And some people might feel like that they're the black sheep of their family,
Right.
but they're still a part of the family.
Right.
It's just that I feel different.
Yes.
And I think about how that ebbs and flows over
Yeah.
time. It's like sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
hey, this feels cohesive. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's going, actually, this feels very different and challenging in
Yeah.
this season.
Absolutely. I've had this experience myself, but also have had clients experience this where like they'll have a really great interaction with their family. Like, we're gonna go stay with my family for the weekend at the beach. We'll see how it goes. And they come back and it was great. And then they see them again the next week and it was terrible. And it's like it is constantly ebbing and flowing. And I think it's more challenging when you're the only one doing this kind of work and you're the only one making any changes. Because then not only is your family staying stagnant, but they're going to be frustrated that you are changing because that feels very scary and dangerous for them. And so it actually might make the conflict worse at some points.
And it might reflect the patterns that
Hmm.
they recognize in themselves
Yeah.
as detrimental to
Hmm.
themselves
Yeah,
and hurtful
absolutely.
and other people.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Most of my clients, when they spend time with their families, and I ask them, like, how old do you feel when you get triggered with your family? It's usually like 17.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
How old do you feel when you get triggered?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually different for different circumstances, but usually if they live separately from their families, like a lot of my clients have families that live in other states or other cities and they don't regularly interact with each other. They're not having as much direct exposure with one another. And they'll go home for a weekend or go on a family vacation for a week. And they're like, I felt like I was in high school again. Like, because that's kind of where those dynamics get a little stuck
Mhm.
in a lot of families.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think high school for most of us is the time, and granted, there are the boomerangs where it's you go away to college and you come back and you live at home. But for a lot of us, high school is the time where you do have more independence
Hmm.
and you're still under your parents' rule.
Right.
And then when we come back as adults, that it's kind of, we don't have practice for you
Right.
having complete freedom.
Right, for
Yeah.
sure. There's no rule book about how to be an adult child. There's no rule book about how to parent an adult child.
Hmm.
And when emotions feel scary, when conflict feels scary, those conversations just don't happen. And
Yes.
so the pattern just kind of stops there.
Hmm. Oh, the conversation's not happening. I see that a lot. It
Hmm.
almost it it's one of those things that it feels like it's sneaky
Hmm.
because when it's not happening and everyone's going, but what's wrong? Because if
Hmm.
there isn't right out conflict, like I think of The Bear, right? Like
Right.
I think of like the TV show The Bear is probably one of the best ways in which all this plays out.
Yeah.
You can see the conflict so
Yeah.
literally that you're going, clearly
Hmm.
this isn't okay. And
Right.
clearly there's a lot that's wrong. And
Right.
I think of the flip side where it's we're not having conversations and we
Right.
don't really know what's wrong, but we feel
Right.
it inside of us.
Yeah.
And that feels harder to put words to and
Yeah.
name the experience.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that is probably to do with like while you're in it, it feels normalized. And it's not really until you have like a longer chunk of time away or spend time with families or people that function differently that you start to ask questions about like, was that actually normal? Was that actually safe? Was that actually healthy? And I think that's where a lot of that work starts. But when you're in it, it feels normal.
Yeah.
Like, this is just how families interact. Oh my gosh, the Seven Fishes episode of The Bear. I
Yes.
have never been more stressed while watching an entertaining TV show in my life.
It was for the way that it's filmed and the up close
Yes.
footage that you get of each character's
Yes.
facial expressions, and just you feel like you're in it.
Yes.
There is no space to watch it
Yeah.
from afar, so it truly feels stressful.
Yes.
And then the chaos, the Seven Fishes
Yeah.
episode, I mean, as a therapist, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Oh my gosh.
This is
I was
great.
gonna ask you, as a therapist, how did it feel watching that? Like,
Oh, it felt like I was internally doing family therapy in my
hmm
head, and on the flip side, it was like I understand where this is all
uh
going and how stressful this is. And
Yeah.
when Michael throws the fork, and then it
Oh my
just
gosh.
like the tension of the scene and
Yeah.
just the acting in it, everything about it
So good.
is so splendidly done that
Yeah.
makes it so stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I particularly paid a lot of attention to Sugar
Yes.
and Mom
Yeah.
and their dynamic. And then like she was constantly chewing her lips, constantly watching her mom, kind of like trying to gauge when do I need to intervene? How do I need to intervene? How do I keep the peace here? And it
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, I'm gonna hyperventilate. It's
Yes.
so stressful.
And because then what sets it all off is Sugar asking her mom, "Are you
Are you okay?
okay? Are you good?"
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I should start asking my clients if they've seen that episode and if they relate.
Pull
Does this feel
up
familiar
a
to you?
PowerPoint like with all the characters and like which ones do you identify with?
Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So speaking of, because you mentioned the rescuer, and I
hmm
think Sugar definitely
Yeah.
identifies as someone who rescues
hmm
and keeps the peace.
Yes.
It sounds like that this is a lot of the people that you work with, that they identify
Yes.
with these roles.
Yeah. I work with a lot of peacekeepers.
Nice.
A lot of peacekeepers, a lot of eldest daughters, a lot of peacekeepers, a lot of high performers, people pleasers.
What do you think it is about the eldest daughters?
Ugh. I think I think eldest children in general, I
Yeah.
think the eldest daughter is a really fun meme, but eldest children in general are kind of parentified, and it's not necessarily all harmful. Like I've even seen as my friends are having kids, like how it happens. Like, oh, okay, like you need them to be a little bit more responsible because otherwise, like nobody's okay. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I think there's just more pressure on an eldest child, or in some dynamics, um, whoever is the most put together, whoever is the easiest temperament. It's not always necessarily the eldest daughter that this falls to, but whoever is the most responsible, put together, um, the one who really sees like, oh, this is a little bit chaotic. Like I'm the one that has to stay grounded. I'm the one who has to be responsible, keep it together, be the good kid.
Yeah. Because I know better.
hmm
I think that may also be if kind of wondering if the narrative for oldest children oftentimes is you know better.
Yeah.
So, and if you know better,
Right.
then you're in some ways part of this weird hierarchy that you
Right.
don't have power in.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
You're the middle manager of the family.
Yes. Yes.
You're not in the
Yes.
C-suite, but you're not just like, okay, like I
Yeah.
get to do whatever I want and clock
Right.
out. Like you're kind of like in this middle ground.
Right.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. And like I was talking to a friend recently about like she's not the eldest daughter, but essentially acts as one in her family
Hmm.
dynamic. And we're like, it's like an honorary term. Like
Yeah,
it's like whoever is filled in the blank, like whoever fits the description.
totally. Yeah, whoever a lot of responsibility gets
hmm
bestowed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. And they tend to not be allowed to have big feelings. They tend to not be allowed to act out. They tend to not be, not feel safe having like a wild phase or taking risks in adolescence. Um, and it's really interesting to see how that plays out in adulthood and in other dynamics outside of their relationship with their parents.
Hmm. Yeah. It is interesting. I think patterns that get generalized are very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That most eldest children feel this way. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when you present it to a lot of oldest children, it resonates with
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah.
And then you almost look at the society as a broad and it's
Mm-hmm.
going, okay, what is happening with the
Yeah.
parents if this is the thing that
Yeah.
what's happening in society that this becomes the norm? And
Right.
so it is interesting in that way.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think I saw something recently that said families kind of build their structure and their patterns around the least functional member. And I didn't like that phrasing. I don't like the phrasing least functional, but if we can kind of put it in context, we can see the patterns of like we accommodate for the person who is less able to regulate their emotions. We accommodate for the person who has difficulty getting out of bed every day and things like that. And a lot of times that kind of responsibility or that slack has to be picked up by somebody. So, and the somebody are my clients.
Yes.
Yeah.
So another term that we want to deep dive into for today is codependency.
Yes.
Yes.
Codependency.
Yes.
Love it.
A hot topic that has yet to
Hmm.
be talked about on this
Hmm.
podcast. So I am so excited. This is the first time that we're doing this.
What an honor.
Yes. What is codependency?
Oh, that's a great question. To define it for my clients, I usually explain that it is when our nervous system is reliant on the nervous systems of others to regulate. Um, Codependency, if we break it down, regulation with each other is required. When we're infants, we regulate based on our caregivers. As we get older, we still look to our caregivers, but we learn self regulation. When we have codependency, our regulation is still being outsourced to other people. Like we didn't quite fully grasp the self regulation concept, weren't taught how to self regulate, weren't taught that our emotions were safe, that we could handle them, how to cope with them or process them. And so our existence kind of becomes if you're okay, I'm okay. And like base it around whoever we're spending the most time with. So if your partner's okay, you're okay. If your parent is okay, you're okay. If your friends are okay, you're okay. If your boss is okay, you're okay, regardless of how you actually feel.
Your feelings are put on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else's feelings become your
Yes.
responsibility. Because if I let go of that responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
what might happen?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's different for every client. Everyone has their story of like, what happens if I don't keep the peace?
Yeah, that it becomes, I do like to think of it almost like characters in a story.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talked about the bear,
Right.
where
I
you
was
can
gonna say,
clearly see the characters, but
yeah.
that it's if for if everyone's the main character in their own story,
Mm-hmm.
and for people who feel very emotionally responsible for the emotions of others, it's my job as the main character is to keep watch
Mm-hmm.
for
Yes.
everyone.
Yes.
I'm the one who's the glue keeping it all together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we're the glue and we're the peacekeeper, there's all of these subconscious behaviors until we make them conscious. Like, so we can think of sugar like constantly observing. We're looking for facial expressions, we're looking for body language, we're looking for tone of voice. Um, we're paying attention to these really subtle energy shifts that no one else will notice. But because we've been hypervigilant with this person for so long, we notice. And we're like, are you okay? And we start getting really anxious about their okayness and what we need to do to make them okay so that they don't explode, so they don't stonewall us, so they don't lash out or, worse. But
Mm,
yeah,
yeah. How does this begin, do you think?
that's a great, great question. Um, excuse me.
Mm,
I think when I'm looking at codependency, I can usually see it a long time back. It's like several generations of us not knowing how to regulate independently, not knowing how to feel safe with our feelings. And so I do think a lot of it is nature, the environments that we grow up in. Kind of going back to we structure our families around somebody, um, whether that person is like a sibling with special needs or an alcoholic parent, things like that. Um, So yeah, I think it kind of starts where we grow up.
yeah.
How is emotional regulation modeled for you when you were little? How do your parents deal with their emotions now? Um, if it wasn't modeled for you, How did your parents even respond to your emotions? What messages did you learn about your feelings?
Yeah, because if the messages that I learned was that my feelings are a problem or they're taking
Hmm.
up too much space,
Right.
then I'm going to manage them and put them on the back burner
Yes.
so that I can feel like my needs are being met. If I shrink my needs down, then maybe there's a
Right.
higher likelihood that they're met.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Or if we're dealing with somebody like a parent struggling with some sort of personality disorder or something like that, um, we are accommodating to make their emotions less big. But the message that we get is that emotions are scary. They're volatile. They're violent. They take over. They suck the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah. And if I'm in that, I'm going to try and be able to breathe.
Hmm.
So I need to help them
Right.
regulate so that there
Hmm.
is oxygen in the room for all of us.
Right.
Especially if we're reliant, if especially if it's we're talking
Right.
parent-child and I'm reliant on this person
Right.
to meet my needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what you're saying about it being generational too,
Hmm.
that lands, I
Hmm.
think. Whenever I'm like uh thinking about family therapy and
Hmm.
coming from like the in-home family therapy
Yeah.
background, yeah, it's if I were to look at visualize someone's genogram
Hmm.
and ask questions about their parents and their grandparents and their like stemming back in terms of what people have struggled with, what people were
Hmm.
like, and maybe what
Right.
kind of jobs they've had in the past. Like I
Yeah.
think a lot of people who are rescuers want to be in helping professions.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And like a lot of therapists like do resonate with this in
Yes.
terms of like, yes, I can help like rescue
Yes.
people. And that's why I went to school for social work. And
Yeah.
this is great. Yeah.
Yes.
I can put my stuff to the side to be able to listen and be there for
Yeah.
others that are our strengths and our weaknesses or our pain points
Hmm.
and our strengths are next door neighbors.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The call
Yeah.
is coming from inside the house.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm used to this. I'm good at this.
Yes.
I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say a large majority of therapists become therapists, like exploring their own stuff, whether that's conscious or not. Hopefully, at some point, it becomes conscious, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, in school I feel like we were constantly going, okay, you're gonna be your own case
Mhm.
study, and everyone's going,
Yeah.
all right,
Good.
didn't think that that was gonna be part of this class, but here we are. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
So when we think about what codependency, how it might show up
Hmm.
in multiple relational contexts. So we kind of touched on like the
Hmm.
family parts of it.
Hmm.
What about the romantic relationship parts of it? Because I
Yeah.
feel like that's another area where a lot of people might see this pattern show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to hear your perspective on this as well as a couples therapist.
Mhm.
The way that I see it a lot, because I'm working primarily with millennial women who are parenting, most of them are partnered. Um, I see a lot of that play out in their marriages or dating relationships, in not feeling like they can have boundaries, feeling like they're picking up more than their fair share of the relational, mental, and emotional load, um, accommodating for their partner's emotional stuff, trying to carry the emotional labor of their partner's emotional stuff. It's like most of my clients are cisgender heterosexual women, so they're partnered with men.
Mhm.
And I think there's still, I mean, I listened to your podcast about men's mental health.
Yeah.
There's still just so much stigma around mental health for men. And I think a lot of millennial men are more open to it now, but there's still like this hesitancy of like, I think they know it's going to be hard and scary, and I get that. And so a lot of my clients have been in therapy for a while, and they're like, "It's amazing, we should go." And so they're carrying a lot of that emotional labor of, "Here's what I'm learning. You can learn by trickle down therapy."
Oh, I love trickle down therapy.
Yes. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That yeah, the stigma for men to be in therapy. And I also
Mhm.
think that um I don't know if it's necessarily a stigma, but I think it's also like we what's sold to men
True.
in like
Yeah.
the way of we sort of have name your tropes, right? Like the
Yeah.
Joe Rogans, the like
Yes.
Andrew Hubermans, they're like, if you just follow these protocols, you'll be
Right.
fine.
Yes.
And so it reinforces this idea that you can do it alone and you should be able to do it alone
Yes.
because look, there's a protocol for it. And
Right.
like Justin Karate talked about, men love
Mhm.
action and therefore they're going to
Right.
gravitate towards those
Yeah.
kinds of things of like,
Yes.
I can do it by myself and I can take an action
Yes.
plan for it. Great. Give
Yeah.
me that.
Yeah.
But to be relational with it is a
Mhm.
totally different
Yeah.
thing.
Of
It's not
course.
even the same. It's not, if they're cousins, they're
Yes.
not in the same
Yeah.
realm, but they're adjacent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like that there's multiple ways for like there's self-help and there's relational help.
Yeah,
And then this is the
absolutely.
relational sides of things. So then when
Absolutely.
you're working with women who
Mhm.
are in partnerships with
Mhm.
heterosexual men,
Mhm.
and they're going, okay, great. He's working on himself and he's
Mhm.
just, started working out and getting sunlight in the morning and
Yeah.
he's reading these books,
Yes.
but he'll do everything but talk to
Yes.
somebody.
Men will do
So
anything but go to
for
therapy.
therapy, yes, yes. So I'm the one who's doing the emotional work
Mhm.
and I'm coming to
Yes.
you trying to break my codependency patterns. But how do I do that
Mhm.
when I'm the one who's doing the
Yes.
work?
Yes. And I don't know if you see this in your work, but I see this a lot with my clients that women are a safe place for men to be emotional.
Yeah.
That is, they've been taught that the only place that they can be vulnerable or share their emotions or talk about how they're really feeling is with a romantic partner. Um, and so that puts a lot of emotional burden on the female partner
Yes.
to carry if they're not willing to talk to their friends about how they're feeling, find a therapist for themselves. Um, so,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. It's the modern couple has had more pressure on them than ever
Mhm.
before because we're now way more isolated.
Mhm.
Even how our society is physically structured,
Yeah.
houses are further apart and
Mhm.
bigger,
Right.
and we are less likely to talk to our neighbors. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm in an apartment building and I met a neighbor, and I'm really in. I'm in an apartment building where there's
Yeah.
400 units. Like that's pretty
Gosh.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of wild how we are, we have access to people, but
Mhm.
the idea of a romantic partnership is this is the person that is now essentially your
Yes.
emotional support guide. They're the
Mhm.
ones that you do your taxes with.
Yeah.
If you raise children with them, they're parenting with them too. You're
Yeah.
figuring out your business plans, your 401k,
Yeah.
sex, and now also the existential parts
Right.
of life, right?
Right.
Like where are we going? What's the meaning of it? How's your
Yeah.
spiritual world? Like,
Right.
those types of things. And it's like
Yeah.
we're now life coaches to our partners as
Right.
well. And
Yeah.
then people go, oh, how have I built so much resentment? It's like, well,
Right.
you
You're
really,
doing a lot.
you're doing a lot of work. You rely on each other for a lot of things. And
Yeah.
while the marriages that are lasting are happier
Mhm.
than ever before, and there's more satisfaction in them,
Mhm.
there's also higher pressure, which I
Right.
think is why we're seeing this higher divorce rate, is that
Yeah.
if it's this all or nothing, and right now, modern
Yeah.
relationships, and especially millennials who are like,
Mhm.
we have more opportunities open to us than
Right.
ever,
Yeah.
we might as well take advantage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to stay stuck. My parents met
Yeah.
at work or through a friend, and that's how they met, but I don't
Mhm.
have to do that same thing.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it can feel like the relationship itself
Yeah.
has just so many facets to it,
Yeah.
and it better be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a lot. And I see a lot of that play out in the like my clients are very empathetic that we have really high expectations of men right now and we haven't really bridged the gap with skills. So like we're just kind of being like, you need to do all of this now, and they aren't prepared for it. Whether that be like they haven't done their own emotional work yet. So when we're asking them to share the emotional load of parenting, it's hard for them to get on the same page about how do we handle discipline with our kids? How do we handle when our kids are having a really big emotional meltdown? And things like that. And so my clients are very empathetic. And I think where the codependency piece comes in is that that prevents them from expecting accountability from their partners
Mm.
and not really trusting that we can both be compassionate and empathetic and still expect people to behave like adults that are responsible for themselves.
They're over functioning for their
Hmm.
partners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a really good way to phrase it.
Okay. And they're almost, I don't even trust that you can handle it. So I have to be the one that steps in. Because if I'm the one
Yeah.
who's emotionally responsible even for
Mhm.
you, I don't trust that
Yeah.
you can handle your emotions.
Yeah.
I especially don't trust you can handle
Yeah.
your emotions with our children.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be the one who does this
Yeah.
work.
And I would say that that is how they feel when they've hit their limit of like, for today, I am done and I'm feeling resentful. But when they are calmer, more regulated, and feel supportive, they're coming from a space of it's not that I don't trust you, it's that like this feels like asking a lot and that doesn't feel fair.
Okay. So one is this is about you, and one is
Hmm.
this is about me.
Hmm.
When it's about you, I don't trust you. When
Yeah.
it's about me, it's I can't even ask because I don't
Hmm.
want to be a burden onto you.
Yeah. Like I don't want you to have to deal with the uncomfortable emotions of this experience of being a millennial man. So I'm going to protect you by not asking you to do things, but then I'm also going to get really frustrated and resentful when you don't do things.
Because I'll speak to this around dads. The millennial dad is more involved than ever
Absolutely.
before.
Yes.
And so, which is wonderful and it's
Yes.
great. And I think that children are going to
Yeah.
thrive tenfold because of
Hmm.
it. And it's also now a shaken up blueprint that
Yeah.
no one was like, hey, this is how this
Right.
goes now. And so those expectations are now way different than
Yes.
what we were experienced before.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that that little piece is the gap where my clients find themselves feeling some difficulty of like, okay, I know I can hold you accountable because you're a grown person. I trust you. Like I had children with you. I want to parent and partner with you. And I feel like I'm asking you to do something that feels unfair.
What is the unfair piece in this? When they say it's
Mm.
unfair, how are they experiencing the unfairness?
I think it's two things. One, like you said, I'm asking for too much. I need to make my needs smaller. And two, I think it's I'm asking for you to be a person that you have not learned how to be yet. And I know that that's going to be really uncomfortable for you to figure out. Like, I feel sad, or like maybe even carrying the emotional burden of like your in-laws, of like, they failed you as parents in these ways. And now I feel like I need to be tender toward you in those ways, but it ends up looking like enabling.
Is there a line between enabling and managing?
That's a great question. Let's think on that a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you see that look like?
Um, I'll give an example, and it's sort of an addiction example, but it's
Mm-hmm.
one that feels very clear in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Someone's got a drinking problem
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's out to dinner and the person is threatening to leave
Mm-hmm.
if they can't get another drink. So someone is like, I'll buy you the drink just so that
Mm-hmm.
you are fine. Like this so that you will keep the peace at
Mm-hmm.
this dinner. I'll do whatever it takes,
Yes.
including
Mm-hmm.
like literally buy you the beverage to put
Yeah.
in front of you to sit you down and shut
Mm-hmm.
you up, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
I think managing is almost like I'm observing this and I'm super uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to manage it from the inside and maybe the outside, but I'm not going to do it quite literally for
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to buy you the drink or I'm not
Right.
going to like basically tell you to like leave and
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the kids and
Yeah.
go away type of
Yeah.
thing. It's more like this is an internal process and I'm going to maybe say a few things that are
Mm-hmm.
just kind of beating around the bush around what I really
Mm-hmm.
want to say
Yeah.
and trying to couch it very lightly, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
directly do this for you.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's a good clarification. When I think about that in terms of like co-parenting, um, I guess we could put it in terms of like if a dad is struggling with a kid who's having big feelings, the enabling would be mom swooping in and being like, "You leave, I'll handle it." Whereas managing would be kind of like from the other room being like, "Don't say things like that," or "You should do it this way."
Yes, yes.
Rather than letting the dad and the child struggle and figure it out together and then have a follow-up conversation later. Like, how do you feel like that went?
Totally. Yep.
Would you like to process that?
Yep.
Seemed like that was real hard for both of y'all.
Yeah, it was hard for me to watch. So I can imagine what it was like for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I also think that like we fall into the trap of we're expecting more from men now, and we don't know how to directly ask for what we want. Like we don't feel comfortable asking for that because it's asking for too much, or it's being mean, or it's being critical. Um, so we end up being passive aggressive and critical later.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, which then creates its whole own
mhm.
ecosystem
Yeah,
of
yeah,
friction and conflict.
yeah,
Hmm.
yep.
Yeah.
It's a good time. A good time.
So, okay, millennial moms,
Hmm.
parenting from the inside out.
Hmm.
And it sounds like that there is this sort of codependent dynamic that happens,
Hmm.
and that inner rescuer wants to take the spotlight
Hmm.
in most of their relational
Yeah,
situations.
yeah.
Where do you even begin to work with people who are struggling in this way?
Mm. This is where we start doing the inner child work and asking, like, when you see your friend struggle or your partner struggle in these ways, how old do you feel? And what was going on for that part of you? Like, if this part of you feels 8, what was going on in your life then? What were your family dynamics like? And more often than not, that's when that person started feeling like they were responsible for managing other people's feelings or keeping the peace. Um, so that's usually where we start. And then we start with reparenting that part of like, okay, if this was your kid, how would you approach this with them? How would you talk to them about it? Can we validate the emotion that this part of you is feeling? And then what does it look like to parent this part of you from this whole self version?
I love that. Okay, so now I'm looking at, you mentioned 17-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you think about walking someone through what it's like to parent themselves as 17-year-old self,
Mm-hmm.
how would you sort of coach them through
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of it is like visualizing. Like we're going to close our eyes, we're going to sit apart, like across from this part, and we're going to hear them out. Maybe we're going to create safety with this part. We're building a relationship with all of these parts because the 17-year-old self comes in and acts like she does because she doesn't trust your adult self to handle this in a safe way. And so, because other adults did not handle her stuff in a safe way. And so she's trying to get her needs met in the only way that she knows how. So we start with hearing the part out. What do you need to say? What do you need validated? How do you feel? How can I support you? And then we let the adult self parent that part. Like, okay, usually for our 17-year-old self, she wants to like set everything on fire. Um, she's the protector. Usually the adolescent parts are very protective. And so it's a lot of times validating and making space for like, you can say whatever you need to say, you can feel however you need to feel. You cannot drive this car. Like, I'm going to make the decisions about how we behave, but you can tell me how you feel and you can let me know how you would like me to behave, but I'm going to make the decision about how I respond in this moment.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so 17-year-old self, which I think we can all imagine being 17 and wanting to
Oh,
set
yeah.
it all on fire. Yes, we're all like even as you're mentioning driving the car, I'm
Uh-huh.
like that 17-year-old is like gonna floor it
Yes.
in her Volkswagen Jetta.
Yes.
Like
She's driving right now.
oh yeah, for sure. So um when I think about even that visual and going, okay, you can tell me what you need and how you want me to behave.
Hmm.
How might someone like are people how might someone listen to that and be able to say, okay, you can tell me how you want me to behave, but this doesn't mean I'm going to listen to you?
Hmm.
Because I can
Right.
imagine it's tempting
Yeah.
to go, you can tell me how you want me to behave,
Right.
and that sounds good. You're right. I should
Right.
just storm out of the house,
Right.
let my husband deal with the kids that are
Mhm.
screaming, and go, yeah, see ya. Now I might be in my SUV now,
Yes.
but I still just want to drive the car really fast down the road.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's such a good question. Your adult self will hopefully be able to sit with, like, you're right. That would feel so good. It would probably feel really great to do this big gesture where they really feel how mad we are, so that when we come back, they will be groveling and kissing our feet. But your adult self knows that's not how this is going to go. We're going to leave. We're going to be really upset the whole time. We're not actually going to feel better because we left. And when we get back, it's going to be worse. Like the conversation will be worse because of the way that we handled it. Our partner will be more dysregulated. Our children, if they were there, will be more dysregulated. So, what we're creating is a worse situation for us. So, while yes, I do think it would be really nice if we could just leave, what else could we do?
Yeah.
So a lot of validation because when we think about actual adolescents, um, they still need boundaries. It's that thing we were talking about earlier of like you're out there taking risks, you're doing your own thing, but you're still under your parents' care. Um, Adolescents who are not given any boundaries or expectations feel very insecure in their attachment with their caregivers. So our adolescent parts actually do need to be parented. Like we're not just here to be like, yeah, do whatever you want. Take a
Right.
baseball bat. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, as much as the adolescent stage is creating independence,
Hmm.
it also wants guardrails. It's
Yes,
like I'm not ready for full on
right.
independence here. Like
Exactly.
I need some sort of guardrails to
Yeah.
say, all right, these are the lines that I need to stay
Hmm.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if we just let our adolescent selves fly, it feels very unsafe. And then we usually come back down and feel a lot of shame about how we acted.
sure,
Hmm.
sure. Just like we might have when we were 17.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
Right.
So,
Okay. So it is practicing the sort of wise adult
hmm.
talking
Yeah.
to adolescent self
Hmm.
is doing the best they could,
Yes.
and the wise adult going, this is a conversation
Yes.
between the two of us.
Absolutely. And coming up with a compromise. Negotiation is really important with adolescents because they need to feel like they have autonomy, they have power, they're being heard. So maybe you're like, okay, we can leave, but we can't just walk out of here. Like we need to have a conversation with our partner, like, hey, I am overwhelmed, I'm flooded right now. I need to take a walk. Is it okay if I go now, or do you need me to wait for a few minutes for you to get some stuff done and then I can go?
Mhm.
Not that we're asking permission, but we're being collaborative and trying to leave things in a way where we get to go and regulate and come back, knowing that we communicated well and hopefully left room for our partner or whoever to regulate also.
Mhm. Yeah. And so I think I'm going to hit on this because sometimes what I see or hear is I'm not asking for permission, but I am
Hmm.
asking is like the collaboration. I think you
Yeah.
said that beautifully. I think where a lot of people that I talk with will say, but that means that I'm like asking for permission, and that's not good either if I'm
Hmm.
working on my codependency.
Right.
So it's almost like any sort of check-in gets conflated
Hmm.
with this is the antithesis of what I'm trying to
Right.
work on.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that really just kind of comes back to the like, you're not asking for permission. You're setting an expectation. You're speaking a need. I need some space. Would you prefer that I take that now or in 30 minutes?
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's still I'm stating what I need.
hmm.
I'm telling you I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
It's just a check-in
Yeah.
for what works for you
Yes,
now or later.
for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because that's also the adolescent part that's like, I'm not asking for permission.
Right. I was just thinking that is the rebellion part.
Yeah.
That's like I want to rebel
Hmm.
against what I perceive as
Yes.
authority by you.
Yes.
And when I feel like I've been putting my needs and feelings on the back burner and I've given you all the
Hmm.
power,
Yeah.
then I'm going to want to rebel against the power that
Yeah.
I've even given you.
Yes, for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah. So a lot of my work with my clients is helping them figure out how do we communicate well before our adolescent feels like she needs to come in and bring her baseball bat.
Yes. What if, and I'm sure you see this,
Hmm.
that let's say someone doesn't come in with a baseball bat.
Hmm.
They're coming in with flowers. They're coming
Hmm.
in with candy, chocolate,
Hmm.
flowers, a lot of maybe fawning and I'm
Hmm.
sorry's and
Yeah.
I hope I didn't hurt you or
Yeah.
take up space,
Yeah.
whatever, however that might look.
Yeah. Usually those parts are much younger.
Mm,
Those parts are usually like elementary age. The adolescent has enough independence to know that they can handle it on their own. And so they're very much in the like, I don't need anything from you kind of space. Whereas younger parts still very much rely on their attachments. And so they tend to show up in the like, how do I keep the peace here? How do I make you happy with me? How do I make you proud of me? How do I make my needs smaller so as not to irritate you or be a burden, make you uncomfortable?
yeah.
I would say usually if we're showing up with flowers and candy, we're usually much younger.
Okay. We're looking to be soothed
Mm-hmm.
and we want to do it sweetly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially what someone might have gotten at, let's say, 5 was
Mm-hmm.
rather than being soothed back,
Mm-hmm.
it was a thank you, you needed to do that. So then
Mm-hmm.
it's reinforced
Yes.
as, yes, you did your
Yeah.
job. but
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you the like sort of loving embrace. It's more of a power dynamic of, yes, you should have done that.
Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And that's really confusing for those younger parts. It's really confusing for those younger parts because they start to associate like, oh, they don't know that they regulated the caregiver. They just assume that like we're regulated now because children, really little people, don't self-regulate. They co-regulate. So whoever's nervous system they are near when they need soothing or if somebody is upset, whatever that person's nervous system is doing, that is how that child is going to feel. And so they're not understanding like, oh, I did something that soothed my parent. They're just understanding I feel better now.
Yeah. Yeah. They're understanding that I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Which, damn, if biology isn't adaptive, I don't know what is. Like, what an adaptation that serves really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because like we see this even in the animal kingdom. Like babies look to their caregivers to know how they're supposed to feel right now. Like if I look at whoever and they're frightened, my alarm system will go off. Like, what are we frightened about? Are we about to run? What are we doing?
Hmm.
And so we can see that in parent-child dynamics. Like if someone is really angry or really volatile, or if somebody's very fearful, like, I think maybe our perception of a lot of times with codependency is someone was very volatile or dealing with addiction. But we can also look at the other side of like if your caregivers were highly anxious and didn't ever let you take risks, everything feels scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And when everything feels scary, I'm then trying to make it feel easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So I will modify my behavior, even if they're very developmentally appropriate behaviors, like taking risks on monkey bars. I will modify because I can see that that makes my caregiver anxious, and I need to adjust my behavior so that they are not anxious, so they're okay, so I can be okay.
Mm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think of like if a child wants to climb on the monkey bars
Mm-hmm.
or learn how to rollerblade, and you can
Mm-hmm.
just imagine, I feel like it would be most likely an anxious mother. Because
Pearl clutching.
yes, yeah, that's going like, oh my gosh,
Huh?
please don't do that. You're going too fast. Slow it down. And the dads are going like, what?
Yes.
It's fine. Like I
Yes.
can just see that
Yeah.
dynamic playing out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why
Yeah.
dads always get to be the fun parent.
Right, right. Like I feel like growing up in the 90s era,
Mhm.
this is the 90s trope. Like
Yes.
this was the
Yes.
like, you're on your razor scooter and your mom
Mhm.
is screaming you're going too fast and your dad's like, keep going. Like
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the stereotypical 90s mom is like always going like,
Yes, I can attest.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Totally.
Nothing feels safe.
Yep. Yeah, no, everything feels scary. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
for sure.
Um, Loaded topic.
Mm.
The narcissistic
Mm-hmm.
codependent
Mm-hmm.
dynamic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever mentioned the word narcissistic on this podcast
Ugh,
because
scary.
it's a scary one. It's
Yeah.
a big one. It's loaded. I
Yeah.
feel like it gets a lot of buzz and there's
Mm-hmm.
way more nuance to it than
Yes.
just because you don't like someone does not mean they're a
Yes.
narcissist. Just
Yeah.
because you have a family member that might be difficult does not mean they're a narcissist.
Right.
Narcissism is actually on a spectrum. We all actually have it inside of us. Hate to
Yeah.
tell everyone, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, like Freud, that was his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we can even take it back to Greek mythology, narcissus.
Right.
I'll go on another topic on that later, but for
Yeah.
now,
Deep dive that
I'll
one.
deep dive that one.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a solo episode unless I
Yeah.
get someone who's like really
Yeah.
specializes in this. But
Yeah.
because I think about this dynamic and how
Mhm.
it's the narcissistic dynamic would be I see someone who has a ton of empathy
Mhm.
and how they're able to pour into me because
Yeah.
they're able to put themselves aside. And if
Mhm.
I'm just like
Right.
the mythology of Narcissus
Mhm.
falling in love with himself in a river,
Right.
everything's an extension of me.
Yes.
And if I see someone who has plenty of space to
Yeah.
make my extension
Yeah.
keep going, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And then you have someone who's going, I have a ton of empathy and I'll put
Mhm.
all my stuff to the side and I'll fill that. I
Yeah.
will absolutely be that reflection for
Yeah.
you. So I think that that can be a
Yeah.
tricky one,
It's a
but
trap.
it's a trap.
A
It's a
trap.
trap. Run away. Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you see in this?
I see a lot of folks when we struggle with codependency, our sense of self is usually a little, maybe even not present at all, like just not a super strong sense of self. And that's really appealing to someone who has more narcissistic tendencies because their sense of self feels very strong to them. And so
Yes.
they can kind of come into these relationships and project themselves. And it's nice having a blank slate for them who doesn't have a preference on where we go for dinner, who will say, yeah, you're right about whatever, even if they feel like that's not actually true. Um, so yeah, I think it's definitely it's like a I don't want to say like predator prey relationship, but it's a pattern that is familiar to both of these personality types. Like people who are codependent and have a what is the word that I'm looking for? Like a disconnected sense of self. Like not a very grounded sense of self.
Yes.
Um, are looking for someone who is more forthcoming, who will be more direct about what they want, who will make the decisions. Um, and at first that feels really good.
Yeah.
And then it starts to feel kind of scary.
At first, it can feel safe
Yeah.
because look at how certain
Mhm.
someone is, and that makes my uncertainty
Yeah.
feel at ease.
Yes.
But then it's controlling,
Mhm.
and it often becomes
Yeah.
too much more than what we bargained for.
Right. Yeah. That's a really good way to put it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the show Billions?
Mm-mm.
There's a psychiatrist whose name is Wendy on the show,
Mhm.
and she has this line, and it's she's talking with someone, and she goes, "Well, we attract what we lack." And
Mhm.
I that has stuck with me
Yeah.
because I think she was talking about it in this sort of relational
Yeah.
dynamic of, well, we're going to attract someone with this high confidence
Mhm.
when we don't feel confident in
Right.
ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I explain it like we attract our unfinished business.
Oh, I love that
Like
one.
people like to say like women marry their dads, men marry their moms. I'm like, you marry your unfinished business
Yep.
wherever it is.
Yep. Totally.
Mhm.
Totally. So let's say someone married their unfinished business
Mhm.
and let's say they are struggling.
Mhm.
Where do you begin to talk with them in regards to their relationship?
Mhm. That's a good question. Most of the time when my clients are coming to therapy, a lot of their presenting concerns, the things that they say on a consult call are like, my relationships are not where I want them to be, or I'm not super satisfied with how my relationships are functioning. Um, Thankfully, my clients all have like the engaged millennial father spouse. Um, so I don't usually run into a whole lot of like, all right, like this is a little dangerous. What are we doing here? Um, but usually we start talking about what patterns are you repeating and what is your role in that dynamic. We can't change your partner. We can have conversations, but we cannot change or control their behavior. So what is your role and how can you set boundaries around that, even if it's just within yourself? Of like, I am going to take a walk when my partner is struggling with parenting our child so that they have time to figure it out, so that they have time to learn each other's moods and whatever. Like that's an internal boundary.
Mm.
Like I am not going to allow myself to intervene in this way. Um, so we talk a lot about things like that.
I like the internal boundary part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if I think of boundaries as where one ends and another begins,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like seeing that separation
Mm-hmm.
of myself versus you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
For sure. But yeah, we do a lot of personal accountability work because I think when we're in a codependent dynamic, we're highly empathetic, we're very caring, we're overstretching ourselves to care for somebody else. And so it's really easy to feel like this is happening to you rather than something you're contributing to.
Yes. Are you the drama triangle?
No.
Okay, I just learned about this. There's the rescuer, there's the
Mm-hmm.
persecutor, and there's the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And the victim needs a rescuer.
Mm-hmm.
A persecutor can use either one.
Yeah.
And the rescuer typically needs like a victim, but
Mm-hmm.
also can be feeding into the persecution of it.
Yeah.
So if I don't even know if I'm explaining this totally comprehensively, but just to give like sort of a loose,
Put it in the show notes.
put it in, yeah, I'll put it in the show notes. There'll be a some link somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a book. So the idea of the rescuer though
Mm-hmm.
is almost like there's a hint of self-righteousness to it because it's like you can't handle it. So
Hmm.
clearly you need me.
Right.
And if that's the dynamic, then it's some way it's feeding into
Yeah.
a power play
Yeah.
that someone might have of like, well,
Absolutely.
this person can't handle it. They can't
Yeah.
handle their emotions. They
Hmm.
clearly are not well.
Right.
So I'll be the one that handles it.
Right.
And that then is in some roundabout way, it's
Hmm.
like feeding into a
Yes.
part that needs to feel
Hmm.
validated
Yes.
and like they have value.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely send that to me. I'd
Yeah.
like to learn more about that.
Yeah, I will.
But yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. A lot of personal responsibility. Like, what role are you playing in the dynamic that you don't like?
How do people take that?
I think because I tend to work with a lot of high performers, they're in therapy on purpose. Like they understand that this is what I can control. I am ready to do something about it. And so usually they're really open to having this conversation of like, we contribute to the situations that we're in. We are half of a relationship. And so usually it goes pretty well.
Yeah.
It's not ever like fun. Like nobody likes to be like, oh, yeah, these things that I was doing that I thought were caring and are caring, but like I have created the situation that I am talking about in here.
It's kind of like, oof,
Uh-huh.
that hurts.
Yeah.
But it does feel like that there's something I can
Mhm.
do about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is really empowering. Like when we can take responsibility for what we can take responsibility for, we can do something with it. So, I actually did an Instagram post a few weeks ago about like the parts of us that feel really overwhelming or feel really scary that we avoid are the parts that create the thing that we fear the most. So, like the anxious part that feels like it's too needy or too much is actually creating resentment and disconnection in relationships. So, when we can take accountability and explore those parts, we actually reduce the things that we're scared of.
So, question on that, because then does it almost become a self-fulfilling prophecy? The part of me that is
Mhm.
worried that I'm too much or not enough
Mhm.
then starts to see how you're making me feel like I'm too much and
Mhm.
not enough.
Yeah.
And then it's creating more disconnection because
Yeah.
that's what I'm feeding.
I think so. Let me think of an example.
Mhm.
Um, hmm. Okay, so maybe thinking about somebody who has a more anxious attachment style, who does feel like this part of them is too much. And maybe in reality, that part is flooding somebody else. But because they're avoiding the too muchness and I don't feel secure, I don't feel safe, I don't know how to handle that, it is coming out in over texting, over communicating, controlling, and like pushing away the person that they are most fearful is going to go away.
Mhm.
So it's things like that. So self-fulfilling, yes.
I love that. Okay.
Hmm.
That creates a lot of clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then I think of the anxious attachment style and how
Hmm.
that would hit on all of those points.
Hmm.
But where is that anxiety coming from? What
Hmm.
is the sense of self that
Hmm.
it's narrating? And
Yeah.
this is how the story is going and the actions that
Yeah.
are following that story.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes. Or like in conflict, where if a partner needs space and that triggers their anxiety because are they going to come back? And they don't trust themselves or their partner or the relationship. And so they don't give their partner space. It turns into a huge blow up, which turns into a 3-day stonewalling. And then we're back at the beginning. When if we could deal with this part of us that feels really insecure and sit with it with the discomfort of like, okay, I know this is really hard. This is really uncomfortable. We're used to people not coming back, but this person has never done that. So let's just see what happens and give them some space. Then we can have connection and productive conflict and conversation.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
What level is that? Is that like, are we talking that that's like PhD level, or is that more like, can we learn this and be like pretty cool at like a fifth grade level on that
Oh.
and start to be able to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that analogy totally lands.
Yeah. Oh, I think like I was talking to somebody recently about like therapy progress is slow and like how do we measure how comfortable we get with conflict?
Yes.
So I don't think it's a PhD level, but I do think it's a like maybe we start in kindergarten and it feels really uncomfortable, but we get better and better and better. And one day we look back and we're like, oh wow, like it doesn't bother me when my partner is snippy with me because he's in a bad mood, because I can come back to him later and be like, I think you were in a bad mood earlier, but I didn't like the way that you talked to me. And we can have a productive conversation rather than spiraling about like my partner hates me, he's planning divorce, he's going to leave tomorrow, and
Mm,
I need to figure out what's wrong and making him more anxious and more upset.
right.
So,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, it's hard to measure whether it's fifth grade or PhD,
Yeah.
but somewhere in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I do think that progress happens fast and slow.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, we both love movement.
Hmm.
It's like when you learn something new
Yeah.
or how to fix your form.
Yes.
And at first you're going, this feels kind of funky, and I'm
Yes.
overthinking about how I need to dig my heel into the ground when I'm
Hmm.
doing my RDL.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it becomes, okay, I now know that I need to dig my
Hmm.
heel in, and it's
Yeah.
less of a thought
Yeah.
than like the action and the
Yeah.
thoughts, the
Feels like
distance.
muscle memory.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
It's built in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yes.
Mhm.
I work with a lot of perfectionists who hate that. They're like, I just want to know exactly what to do and know that I'm going to be totally comfortable doing it. Like, unfortunately, that's not how it works. Um, so that's a lot of fun. You're like, well, gotta grow our window window of tolerance here.
Is that so? Then what do you do with clients who are like, I need to see results
Mhm.
immediately?
Oh, I'm very clear about that. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. But I do think it's really empowering for clients to be reminded that internal change happens pretty quickly. Like you are like being here, you are already making forward movement. Like, yes, it's going to be hard, but you know, you have a safe space to process it now. You have somebody supportive who can help you process when it goes poorly. But a lot of what we're working on anyway is like, how do I tolerate the distress of not being perfect? Because a lot of my clients have internalized this idea of if I can be perfect, I can avoid pain. And so
Mm,
usually we're just building the tolerance for pain and discomfort and rebuilding safety with the like just because it's painful or uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's unsafe.
yeah, I like that. Just because it's painful or uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's unsafe.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
can be progress.
mhm. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
it's fun.
But I think that's my favorite part of my job is when clients come in and they've had like a conflict that was a little messier than they would have really liked it to be. Um, or they're talking about a conflict that felt really messy, and I can reflect back, like, but how would you have handled this a year ago? How different is it now? Like a year ago, this would have been drawn out for 5 days between you and your partner, whereas you guys were able to sit and maybe the conversation felt longer than it should have, but you were done with it. You had closure in an hour and a half. That's a significant improvement.
Right.
And so I don't think it's often actually about the conflict. I think it's about sitting with the discomfort of the conflict.
Interesting. Okay, so that it's singing the discomfort that there's friction.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that it's there can be friction and it doesn't have to be threatening.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think for a lot of people, it might be that conflict means that this could be
Yes.
detrimental. It could be
Hmm.
that this means that it's, even if it's not that it's over, it could mean that
Hmm.
this means that our marriage is like in an
Right.
abysmal state, or
Right.
that I did something so gravely wrong that
Yeah.
you're upset with me,
Yes.
that it can spiral into some places that
Hmm.
feel very anxiety provoking.
Yes, for sure.
Um,
Yeah. I think a lot of um a lot of people struggle with like casual conflict, and most of my clients experienced conflict growing up in a very explosive way. Like we kept everything quiet. We didn't talk about things when we probably should have. We swept things under the rug and then it blew up and caused rifts. Maybe some people did go no contact, or maybe it caused severe wounding. And so that's their association with conflict. They don't know how to have like a simple conversation in the kitchen of, I didn't like that you did that, or this hurt my feelings,
mhm.
and just move on once the partner is like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize I did that. My bad.
Right,
Like they're
right.
having these conflicts that are lasting 5 days that could have been like a 5 minute conversation just because they're so reactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much anxiety even around having the
Mhm.
conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? would it look like for someone to recover from codependency?
We were talking earlier about, I think there's a movement toward hyper independence. We're like, I don't need anybody. I don't need relationships. I'm fine by myself. I love canceled plans. Um, and I would say I also love canceled plans. Um, but hyper independence is not the the answer to codependency. I think the
Mhm.
answer is actually interdependency, where we learn how to regulate our own emotions and be okay on our own while also caring for and being in relationship with other people. Um, our nervous systems being their own, and being supportive of one another, but not necessarily if a partner or a friend or a boss is feeling some chaos of some sort or a big feeling, we don't have to get in it with them. Like
Mhm.
we can still hold our own sense of self and hold space for this person. We don't have to be in the space with them.
I can hold space and it's not necessarily for you to take it up.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's a sense of togetherness and separateness.
Yeah. Like I still have my sense of identity, my sense of self, and we have this shared dynamic.
Hmm. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good time.
It's a great time.
I think a lot of that comes from learning to tolerate your own emotions. Because usually, when somebody else is having an emotion that makes us uncomfortable and either spirals us into anxiety or fix it or manage it mode, it's because that's an emotion we are not ourselves comfortable with. So we are making the assumption that the other person feels unsafe and we need to fix it and help them.
Oh, okay. So it's I see this as unsafe for me and it must be
Hmm.
unsafe for you. So now
Hmm.
I have to jump in.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Because I think I always thought of it as it's just unsafe for me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that kind of comes back to it's hard to draw the line between empathy and codependency. Like it feels very murky because you
Mhm.
can hold space and watch somebody be upset and not join them in it.
I can be with you
Hmm.
and I don't have to necessarily take it on as my own.
Hmm.
That you're not a job
Right.
that I have to complete.
Right.
You're also a human being having your
Hmm.
own human
Right.
experience.
And I don't have to rescue you from this. I don't have to fix it for you. Because I think about how many really important emotional experiences have we maybe accidentally interrupted for somebody because we tried to fix it for them or tried to get them out of it when they really did need to sit in what they were feeling.
Oh yeah, I think about that with parenting. I feel like that
Hmm.
that's probably a
Right.
really prominent
Yeah.
relational dynamic
Yes.
where that shows up
Yeah.
because no one wants to see their child in distress.
Absolutely.
And it's also that that's how they learn how to deal with life. And again,
Hmm.
from the moment they're
Hmm.
born, it's like we're tuning to them. They rely on
Right.
us. So it's almost like when do I break out of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm used to.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but when it translates to adult relationships, it can be
Hmm.
tricky.
It is. It is. But it's also really cool. A lot of my clients will tell me like what their kids say that they've heard them say about how they're dealing with their feelings. And it's so sweet. Like it's really neat to be able to see your growth in that way. Like, okay, what I'm doing is actually affecting the generation after me, the generation that I'm raising, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Trickle down therapy.
Therapy.
It's happening.
Yes.
Oh man,
Yeah.
this is great. Is there anything that we haven't gotten to
Mm,
that you want to hit on?
not that I can think of.
Yeah, this has been wonderful.
Yeah.
Love to have you on whenever.
Yes. So fun. Yeah. I want to interview you next time because I want to hear about codependency and couples therapy.
Oh goodness, yes. Oh, couples therapy. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. It's a fun one.
Yeah. Has anyone interviewed you for your own podcast?
Not for my own. Not loosely. I
Mm.
did a friend episode of my friend Jamie Drescher, and she was my old roommate, and we've
Uh-huh.
remained friends. So it's been like to me, she's like a friend slash
Uh-huh.
sister. So that was kind of a fun like
Yeah.
going back and forth. She gave me homework on the podcast. So, and I completed it. So I
Nice.
was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, there, so like a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, not like a direct interview. So
Very fun.
if you want to do like some podcasts, like,
Yeah.
hey, I want to try this out, you
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can do that.
That'll be very fun.
That might be fun.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll just steal your podcast for an episode, see if I like it.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a great one to try it out.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very cool. Well, thanks for having me. This has been a great time.
anytime. Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me online My practice is called Grounded Living. My website is groundedlivingpllc.com. And my Instagram is grounded_living_therapy.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes. And Kim has a great online presence. So absolutely go check out her Instagram. I love your videos. They're so fun to watch. They're funny, they're relatable. I enjoy them. So
I'm so
yeah.
glad.
So highly recommend you go check out Kim.
Very cool. It's millennial cringe. It's a great time.
It's such a great time. Who doesn't love a little millennial cringe, you know? All right. Well, until next time, everyone, stay connected.